Hi there, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to look at slope-intercept form with point and slope, and then 2 points, and also some tables. So today's going to be a mix of a lot of different stuff. So first of all, if we have y equals mx plus b, remember y is just a y value. M is your slope, unit rate, rate of change, and I guess that's pretty much it as far as what we need for today. Remember B, this is your starting point. This is your y-intercept. This is like an initial amount, and we'll talk about that here in just a second. But the y-intercept is your starting point, is your initial value. So here it says Luke's family goes to the movies and purchases a large popcorn. They're debating whether or not to purchase any drinks. The table below shows how many they'll spend based on the number of drinks they decide to purchase. What is the slope represented in the table? So the slope, remember, is the rate of change. So what is the change each time in the total cost over the change in drinks? So essentially, the slope represents the cost of the drinks, right? Because the drinks are what's changing each time. So from $6.25 to $10, what is that, a $3.75? Because from $10 to $13.75 is another increase of $3.75. So would it be safe to say that each drink costs $3.75? Then after that, we're asked to find the y-intercept. Remember earlier I for sure bought one large popcorn. So without buying any drinks, they're already spending $6.25. So this is your initial amount. So the y-intercept is $6.25. So our equation is going to be y equals $3.75 times x, because x is the number of sodas or the cost of the drinks, plus $6.25 because of that one popcorn that they're buying no matter what. Okay, so now here we have a different situation. Today we're going to write an equation of a line with a slope of 5, and this is your point. So remember, we have y equals mx plus b. The slope is your m, while the -3 is your x, and the 7 is your y. So in this case, in order to write our equation, we have to find that b value. So I'm going to substitute the 3 things I know and then solve for the 4th one. So in this case, our y value is 7. The slope is 5. The x value is a -3. And of course, we need to find the b value in order to write our equation in y equals mx plus b format. So let's go ahead and solve for b. So I have 7 equals -15 plus b. Now I'm going to add 15 on both sides. So b has a value of 22. So when I go to write my equation, remember, you always hear me say you need an m, you need a b. Our m is 5, the b is 22. So when I write my equation, y equals 5x plus 22. Okay. Now here we have another situation. It says a plumber charges $50 to make a house call. He also charges $25 per hour for labor. Write an equation that represents that can be used to figure out the amount of plumber charges for a house call based on the number of hours of labor. All right, so he charges $50 to make the call. So this is like the plumber shows up at your house and you're like, oh, wait, I fixed the problem already. So if we were going to create a table of this situation, this would be x, this would be y. X being time, of course, and then y being the cost. So he shows up and you're like, yo, I don't need you anymore. So then this would be $50. He's there for an hour, $75. 2 hours, $100. 3 hours, $125, and I'm getting the increase at $25 per hour. So in this case, we need an M, we need a B in order to write y equals mx plus b format, that slope-intercept. We know the M is 25 because that is the unit rate. That word per gives it away. And the B is that initial fee, that starting amount. So no matter what, you get charged $50. I oftentimes use the example of a bouncy castle. So you're going to have a party and you order a bouncy castle and they're like, it's a $50 setup fee or $30 setup fee or whatever. And they come to set it up and you're like, oh, it's raining. I don't want to have the party after all. And they're like, well, pay up. You still owe me that setup fee. All right, so now we know what we need. So we have y equals 25x plus 50. This equation would represent the plumber and his charges for labor. All right, here's another one. Here we have an equation of a line with a slope of 5/3. Let me switch colors so it's a little bit easier to see here. A slope of 5/3 and maybe a different one, and an x and a y, right? Because that's an ordered pair. So remember, if we're going to do y equals mx plus b, we need an m and we need a b. Well, we have the m, we need the b, we have an x, we have a y. So let's substitute what we know. The y is 11, the m is 5/3, the x is 12, and of course we need to find the b. So let's go ahead and solve. So now I have 11 equals, now 5/3 times 12. 5 times 12 is 60, divided by 3 is 20, plus b. Now we still need to get b by itself, so I'm going to subtract 20 on both sides. So b has a value of -9. So when I go to write my equation is y equals the slope, which was given to us, 5/3 x. Now our b is -9, so instead of plus a negative, we're going to do -9. So in order to write these equations, we're doing a little bit of substitution in order to find that b, and then we can write our equation. All right, now this is where it can get a little bit tricky. We have a table, and we need a equation in slope-intercept form. So we have y equals mx plus b. Now, we can do this a bunch of different ways. I think the easiest way is to find our m and our b, of course. Our slope is change in y over change in x. So what is changing each time? Of course, it's not consistent, but it's okay. Let's look. So from 7 to 11 is a +4. From 11 to 17 is a +6. From 17 to 21 is back to a +4. But on this side, you'll notice it's going to change by the same rate. So 2 to 4 is a +2. 4 to 7 is a +3. 7 to 9 is a +2. So when I set up those rates, this would be 4 over 2, which is 2. This would be 6 over 3, which is 2. And this would be, ooh, I put 9, but I meant, sorry about that. Whoopsies. This should be a +2. So where am I at? 4 over 2 is 2. So our slope is 2. Now, the good thing is I have an x and a y and a slope. So I can use my x, y, and slope to find my b. So here we go. So our y that I'm going to use is 7. So 7 equals, the slope is 2, the x is 2, and now we're going to find the b value. So 7 equals 4 plus b. Subtract the 4 on both sides, so b has a value of 3. Lo and behold, we have everything we need. So the b value is 3. I can write my equation. Y equals 2x plus 3. So a table's not so bad. We just have to do all the work. We have to find our slope. Then we use our slope and a point to find our b. So here we have another situation. I'm going to go ahead and create a little mini table with what I have. So I have 2, 9 and negative 7, 9. If we're going to write our equation in y equals mx plus b format, we need an m and we need a b. So let's go ahead and find our slope. So the change here is 0. And the change here is a minus 9. So we would have 0 over negative 9 if it's change in y over change in x. So in this case, our slope is 0. Because our slope is 0, remember Mr. Slope Guy's cheekies, that means that line is horizontal, which means it only passes through the y-axis, which means we have a y-intercept at 9 and a slope of 0. So when I write my equation, y equals 0x plus 9. Well, anytime you multiply times 0 is just 0. So y equals 9 will get us what we need here. So I guess when you notice that the 2 points of the y values are the same, you know it's going to be a y equals situation. All right, here's another one, just very similar. I'm going to set up my little table. We have 8 and negative 4, negative 16, and 26. So let's find our slope first. So we go from negative 4 to a positive 26. So that's going to be a plus 30. While over here, we go from 8 to a negative 16. So is that a minus 24, I believe? So y equals mx plus b. Again, we need an m, we need a b. So my m, in this case, would be 30 over negative 24. When I simplify that, I get negative, let's see, 30 is divisible by 6, so this would be a 5, and this would be a 4, so negative 5/4. Okay, now that I know my slope, I have an x and a y. I'm going to pick one point. I guess I'm going to use this one. This will be my x, this will be my y, just because the values are a little more user-friendly, it seems. So let me substitute what I know. I have negative, that color is not cute. What about yellow? Let's try that. Negative 4 equals, my slope here is negative 5/4 times 8 plus b. So negative 4 equals, so negative 5/4 times 8. So 8 times 5 is 40, divided by 4 is a negative 10, plus b. I add 10 on both sides, so 6 equals b. So our equation will be y equals, the slope we have here is negative 5/4. I'm putting it in parentheses because of the negative, x plus 6. And the good thing is here, you can actually substitute the other point to make sure it works. So then our equation is y equals negative 5/4 x plus 6. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and use Desmos to check and see if this works. So my y value from that first point was 26. So, okay, we want to see if we get 26 on the other side. So in parentheses, I have negative 5/4 times the x value, which is negative 16, okay, and then plus 6. And there's my 26. So as you can see here, we got 26 on the left side and 26 on the right side. So then it works.